Hello everyone and welcome to episode 2 of Learn Arabic with Me Verbs Level 1. Here we will be covering the other pronouns and their respective object suffixes and their conjugations in the form 1 perfect. So I will remind you of the expectations in this episode and maybe a few more, and then I will drop them. But if you want to carry on in this series, you have to have learnt to read Arabic and use the short vowels. I will be adding all the short vowels like in classical Arabic to understand cases and sounds of verb endings. So here are the other pronouns in the singular, and I will repeat the ones you may have learnt already. So ana, anta, anti, huwa, hiya. So this is the singular. I, you, masculine, you, feminine, he and she. Come to the pronouns which are known as the dual, and this refers to two. So in Arabic there are three groups of pronoun and verb form actually. There are the singular pronouns, the dual pronouns, and the plural pronouns. And dual refers to two things. So huma refers to those two masculine nouns. So it could be those two men, and that's how you refer to two men, huma. And it is the same in the feminine, so this is why it's quite easy to remember the dual pronouns. So huma again. And antuma is you in the masculine dual, and it's the same in the feminine dual. So huma and antuma. Huma, antuma. The plural pronouns go as follows. So you've learned hom from the first video. Now this refers to masculine and mixed plural groups, much like il in French, ILS. Arabic is a male-dominated language in its grammar, so hom refers to a masculine and mixed plural. Hunna is a feminine plural. Antom is the masculine and mixed second person plural. Antunna is the feminine plural, and we is nahnu. Now you may have noticed that there is no dual for the first person. There is only a singular and plural. So if you're referring to we, me, and one other person, you use nahnu. Way to memorize the pronouns, and I wish I was shown this at the beginning of my Arabic learning. It was actually someone who was taught Arabic at school, an Iranian person, that taught me this process of learning Arabic pronouns. So if you get your left hand and you turn it to face you, then every part of your finger represents a pronoun, and it starts with the masculine masculine, feminine, masculine, feminine, and then ana nahnu, which are the first person. So it's third person masculine, third person feminine, second person masculine, second person feminine, and then the first person. So huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antuna, ana nahnu. So if I draw a few lines here, you can see that all of these are the singular pronouns here and here, and all of the following column are the dual pronouns, and all of the subsequent ones are the plural. And as you can see, your thumb only has two sort of bones in it, and that represents the fact that there is no dual in the first person. There's only ana and nahnu, and then each finger represents a person and a number. So this is a person. Sorry. So this is and a gender. Second person masculine, third person feminine here, and so on. So it's really useful, and I'll just reiterate that: huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antuna, ana, nahnu. And I will be using this inside left hand to conjugate verbs in the future as well, because it's a very easy way to get it stuck in your head. Now we will conjugate a form 1 perfect verb with new pronouns. So we're going to use kataba to write, or he wrote, as our example. So we'll go through the singular forms first. So ana katabtu, and you will be familiar with a few of these from the previous video, but we're going to extend it today. Anta katabta, anti katabti, huwa kataba, and hiya katabat. So I've gone through the persons, first person, second person, third person singular, and you'll see that I've done that subsequently. So the dual, antuma katabtuma and antuma katabtuma, so they're the same in the masculine and feminine. And the second person, and in the third person they are also the same. So huma, oh sorry, they're not the same. You retain this t. I got it confused because in the imperfect they will be, but in the second person. But this t is retained almost. If you remind yourself that katabat is the third person singular, you sort of retain this t in the dual, so you get katabata. So huma kataba and huma katabata, even though they have the same pronoun. The plural, so we nahnu katabna, antum katabtum, antuna katabtana, hum katabu, remember the silent alif, and hunna katabna. Now, inside left hand format, so kataba, kataba, katabu, katabat, katabata, katabna, katabta, katabtuma, katabtum, katabti, katabtuna, katabtana, and katabtu, katabna. So if you want to just pause the video here and honestly learn this, I suggest learn it with kataba, but once you get this in your head, it won't fade. And I find it really easy to visualize on my own hand. So kataba, kataba, katabu, and you can speed up. Katabat, katabata, katabna, katabta, katabtuma, katabtom, katabti, katabtuma, katabtana, katabtu, katabna. Now we're going to look at the object suffixes in the same format. Remember, third person masculine here, third person feminine, second person masculine, second person feminine, and first person. And the top represents here the singular, the middle here represents the dual, and the bottom rung represents the plural. So we've learned a few of these. We've learned a few of the singular and one of the plural object suffixes, but now we're going to learn the rest. So hu, huma, hum, ha, huma, hunna, ka, kuma, kum, ki, kuma, kunna, and ni, na. And we will now do some practice of what we've learned using the three verbs which I presented to you in the first video, kataba, sami'a, and fahima. So we understood them. So we understood, remember, would be this part of your left hand. So fahimtu, fahimna, and the feminine dual object suffix is huma. So fahimna huma. They, masculine dual, heard us. So masculine third person dual is the second part of your pinky finger. Kataba, kataba. So sami'a, sami'a, and the object suffix for nahnu is na. So sami'ana would be they heard us. We wrote it. Katabna. So katabnahu. And the it, I use a masculine singular object just because a book, kitab, is a masculine noun in Arabic. Of lessons 1 and 2, you should now know how to conjugate form 1 verbs in the perfect tense in every person and with any object suffix. I should say Form 1 regular verbs, because we're coming on to the irregular ones very soon. And well done, that's 20 minutes of Arabic. You've learned how to conjugate the most common verb form in the perfect tense. Amazing. Very much. And again, here are my contact details. I wish you the best.